So Arcane Odyssey has been out for a couple months now, with a few updates here and there. For those who don't already know, Arcane Odyssey is this semi-new Roblox RPG adventure game, and I've seen a lot of people make comparisons to Blox Fruits, which is just one of those one-piece games. That got me thinking, how similar really are the two games? What do they have in common, or what are the differences they have? And of course, which one's better? In this comparison, I'm going to go over 5 main factors I think are important for a Roblox adventure game. So without any more delay, let's jump straight into this. When it comes to progression, there's a major difference between the two games. While you can reach max level in Arcane Odyssey in a few hours to a day or two, Blox Fruit's progression is slow and grind heavy. For example, AO has you go through a storyline and do lots of different quests for XP, like cooking quests, fishing quests, and trade quests. Blox Fruit's progression is kill 8 NPCs, then kill 8 more NPCs, then after you're finally done grinding those same 8 NPCs, you can finally grind 8 different NPCs. And you do this for a long time. And that isn't inherently a bad thing. For instance, one of my favorite games of all time, Terraria, takes about 80 hours to complete. But you wanna know what Terraria and AO does that Blox Fruit doesn't? Make things interesting. In Terraria and AO, there are tons of different ways to progress, and things don't always feel like a chore to complete. Meanwhile, Blox Fruit is sitting in the corner with its many hours of grind, with little to show for it. It feels like someone started making a game but quit halfway through. Now I already know what some of you Blox Fruits players are gonna say. But Rhino Kart, it's all worth it once you reach 2nd and 3rd C. Well, let me tell you this. Why on God's green earth would I, or anyone for that matter, play an unfun game for hours just to get to the fun parts? The game should be fun from the beginning, and not after you put hours into the game. As AGR once said,
"Can we skip to the good part?"
Yeah, this is a clear point for Arcane Odyssey. Combat is also quite important to both games. It is what their entire marketing is about, after all. Now, when we're looking at combat, there are 2 main things we're looking for: variety and skill. A win in either category will equal half a point. When it comes to variety, we are definitely dealing with a lot of options. Both AO and Blox Fruits have many different weapons, magics, fruits, and fighting styles. We can figure out exactly how many using some simple math. Starting off with Arcane Odyssey, AO has 20 magic types, which we can multiply by the number of different builds you can have. These builds include Mage, Paladin, Warlock, Conjurer, and Savant. There's also Warden, but that hasn't been added yet, so we won't count it. So that's 20 times 5, and that equals 100. That means that right at the start, you have 100 different options on how you want to play. But that's not all. AO also has fighting styles. So now we multiply 100 by the 6 fighting styles, and we get 600 different combinations on how you can play. From here, we can either include weapons and enchants, or just move on to Blox Fruits, because if I did, this would be way out of proportion, and would take a lot longer than I want this to take. In Blox Fruits, there's 35 fruits times the 11 fighting styles, and you get 385 different combinations to play. That's a difference of 215 ways you're not going to be able to play Blox Fruits. Now into skill. In this skill category, we have to think about how much skill is required to use your moves. Here's what combat in AO looks like. And here's what combat in Blox Fruits looks like. Pretty big difference, right? Yeah, this point clearly goes to Arcane Odyssey. While Blox Fruits was developed by a team of people, AO was developed by a single guy in his basement, this single guy being VTEX Games. Now you might think that Blox Fruits easily takes the win in this category, but you'd be surprised. This might have something to do with Arcane Odyssey being released a few months ago, but there have been a lot less complaining and a lot more bug fixes from one guy than an entire team. That should tell you something about Blox Fruits' dev team. Overall, another landslide in favor of Arcane Odyssey. Now this one is kinda unfair, since like I said before, AO hasn't been around that long, and has only gotten a few major updates as of today. That being the Ocean and Brewing update, which while they did change a lot about the game, Blox Fruits has had way more updates. When it comes to frequency of those updates, both games have a pretty similar update schedule, having around multiple per year. But alas, Blox Fruit takes the win for this one. In this modern age, it seems every Roblox game is pay to win, and Blox Fruits does not disappoint. Whether you're buying in-game currency using in-game currency, or getting XP boosts which God knows you need to play this bloody game, or even one of the 6 game passes, which of course you need because why not? I mean, they can't be that expensive. Okay, what the f- But that's not all. There's also 4 different products you can buy. On the other hand, AO has 6 game passes, all of which are cosmetic and not game impacting. That's the thing about microtransactions. Having more isn't really a problem as long as the game passes don't give you an unfair advantage over regular players. You shouldn't have to pay to be better than someone else. Or maybe I'm just well, I guess Arcane Odyssey is the ultimate winner here. In the end, none of this really matters, because it's all my opinion. Go ahead and play whatever game you feel like playing. It doesn't really matter what some random guy on the internet tells you to play. That's it for me. You guys have a lovely day. See you next time.